Alright, so today's book of the day is Showboat, The Life of Kobe Bryant by Roland Lazenby. This is also the author of Michael Jordan's biography. So I bought this book basically the day after it came out. Overall I like the book, but it's not as good as, like inspiration wise, or giving you any like how to motivate you in life wise. It doesn't really help that much. It's more of a book for Kobe Bryant's fan, just his overall life story. So I was growing up watching Kobe's. Basically, when I started watching Kobe, that was his prime, like 2005. I was shocked. I remember I seen him just doing all the crossovers and dunk on Yao Ming, like the reverse dunk, the classic baseline reverse dunk. It was incredible. So it's kind of like a love and hate relationship with Kobe Bryant. That's how I feel. But towards the end, I kind of become his fan. Even 2008, I was supporting Boston Celtics because I was a Kevin Garnett fan. I was never like, I don't like how Kobe doesn't really pass. So everybody talking about Kobe, it doesn't pass, and you see it's funny. You see all his highlights. You just see all like his teammates is wide open. He just pull up. But overall, I like the book. It's interesting. So I want to start by talking about the book. Actually, spent I would say 30 to 40% talking about his father, Joe Bryant, which I was kind of bothered by that. It was kind of boring when they talk about the 70s, when everybody was like wearing like super shorts and just dribble with a back to the basketball and don't do all the crossovers because back then, they call carry the ball really strictly. But one thing I noticed from his father's career is his father is very, very talented, but didn't make really far. So the bigger thing I learned from this book is how NBA, a lot of people are just so talented. Unless you're like Yao Ming, which is 7'6", and still have the agility to move, or Shaquille O'Neal, who is 7'2", 300 pounds, and can move and run so fast, or LeBron, we all know LeBron. Otherwise, talent-wise, there's really no much difference. It's all about, for one thing, I think it's more about your work ethic, like to a point that it's ridiculous work ethic. And the other thing is how it's more like a mental battle with you, with yourself, with your team, with your teammate, I don't like to use the word battle, but it's kind of like how you handle the balance. So so the book started by talking about his father, and the biggest thing I get from that part of the story is his father is really talented. I feel like the book kind of like try to exaggerate. They say his father Joe Bryant is Magic Johnson before Magic Johnson, which I can't really agree. But a 6'10" guy that can dunk, can run, can shoot was really amazing. But I think it was back then NBA still wasn't that much of. They don't make that much money so the players don't have that much influence. So if the coach doesn't, basically back then the coach has more control than nowadays. So Joe Bryant got benched a lot, but also he's not consistent. He's just not consistent. The other thing I noticed from the book is his father is always the chill, fun guy, joke around guy that like to put on the show, but not really like a very serious type. So I can see how Kobe realized his father, although enjoyed the career most of the times, but his father is always joking around, not serious mentality, kind of held his father back from develop to the next stage in the NBA. And that's how you see Kobe is always. I mean, there is different personality, but he's always like really serious. That's his personnel from TV. He's always really serious. But he also has, I think he also has like really loose, comfortable style. I will mention later on, in a book. But basically, his father's big influences, of course, basketball education, and also a bad example of, you don't want to be the joke around fun guy in the locker room. You want to be the serious guy because you have to be the leader. That's how his father get criticized the most, is unable to be a leader. On the other thing, I think his father's connection kind of helped him get in an Adidas contract, because they bring in scouts. Because when he was in high school, he was still like a skinny kid, like 6'2", 6'3", that is skillful but really skinny. So his father helped a lot on that. But also later on, the books give a lot of detail about how he dealt with his family when when the person gets rich. His family, when they don't really make that much money, they want him to give them stipend, give them money, and that just causes a lot of conflicts. And and plus later on, when Vanessa, his wife, came in from a really underprivileged family, and Kobe decided to pull some money to his wife and try to be separated from his family, and that just causes more and more conflict. So that is the part that I didn't know when I was watching the game, that he had to deal with his family issue. So the other thing that's really interesting is it kind of changed my perspective about the Dream Team, the USA Dream Team, from this book. The details being revealed. I always thought that a lot of superstar players, they go through the Dream Team and they come back to become a better player. I always thought it was, for one, they learn from each other. All the all stars learn from each other. Also, the experience, the winning experience. But also the other thing, this part mentioned when Mike Krzyzewski bring Kobe to the team, to the Dream Team, and asking him to not being the primary scorer, because there's LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Carmelo Anthony, and Dwayne Wade. He got brought to the team. He has to be the distributor. He has to play defense, and all that. So it kind of makes sense when they come out of Dream Team and go back to their the NBA team. They are able to play the role that they usually don't, which means mostly relying on the teammate, because in Dream Team everybody's all-star, you can rely on them, but you kind of carry that momentum when you go to the season, that you develop your defense, you're being a team defender, being an individual defender, and also being a ball distributor. So I think that's one of the biggest reason that anybody goes to Dream Team, come back, they get better. And also, this interesting information that I would never know is, once you sign up for the Dream Team, you have to sign up for 3 years instead of just 1 year. That's why it's a big commitment. It kind of like screw up his health condition. That's why there's a lot of buzz about recently people sitting out NBA players like LeBron James, Kevin Love, Kyrie, or last season Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, to sit out. It kind of makes sense. I know fans don't like it, but if you think about how all the players towards the end, they have injury issue. Like towards the end, Kobe's like, he does not have time to fix his ankle, to fix his index finger and all that. If they could have sit out, it would be a lot better. Or the older example would be Larry Bird's back. He does not sit out and rest. And also, well, the other thing, Larry Bird does not believe in strength training, so that's the other problem. So here's a few anecdotes from the Dream Team experience that I find really, really interesting. Just shows how crazy this guy is. When they say that, I think LeBron James and Dwayne Wade, they both say the same thing. When they go in the morning, when they go to the gym, they saw Kobe already finishing the first workout and resting. And it's like sweating and just sitting on the bench resting and say good morning to the people that came in. It was insane. His working ethic is so shocking, to a point that I feel like it kind of like influences people skill. That's why when he first got into the league, he does not have friends. And later on, he become good friends with Derek Fisher because Derek Fisher tried to bring him to the unity of the team. Shaquille is always like the fun, joking around guy. That's why Shaquille always is friends. But Kobe is definitely doing a lot better because he has the focus. It's just hard to balance. That's why I think LeBron is overall a better player, but also his sharing the ball mentality kind of prevent him from further develop his scoring skill. So there's always a trade off there, depending on what you choose. But Kobe is still a fantastic player, so fun to watch. He's definitely missed in the league. So here are some final words before I end this book review. Like I said earlier, overall I really like I think the book is pretty good. Has a lot of information that usually not revealed. But in terms of how inspirational the story is, it's not as good as what's the documentary called Muse. That one is a lot more inspirational because it's scripted in a way that he has a lot of fancy quotes in there from the Muse. Let me pull out some of the quotes from the Muse just to show it. It's incredible. Okay, so this is one of the quote. When you make a choice and say, "Come hell or high water, I am going to be this," then you should not be surprised when you are that. It should not be something that you feel intoxicating or out of character because you have seen this moment for so long that when the moment comes, of course, it is here because it's been there the whole time, because it's been in your mind the whole time. And the other quote from the Muse documentary, he was talking about how he become the Black Mamba is. He said, "Once I discovered letting my emotion erupt on the basketball court, everything about the game changed. Because now I understand that I could really lose myself through the game, and no matter what affected me, no matter what happened in life, I could always step on the basketball court and let my game speak to that. Step on the court and just absolutely erupt. The feeling of playing without rage was new to me, but I fucking love it." And this is the other quote that I love so much. Kobe said, "When we are saying this cannot be accomplished, this cannot be done, then we're shortchanging ourselves. My brain, it cannot process failure. It will not process failure because it has to sit there and face myself and tell myself you're a failure. I think that is worse. That is almost worse than death." So that's the book review for today. Showboat, The Life of Kobe Bryant by Roland Lazenby. Thanks for watching.